Spider-Man: Homecoming is directed by John Watts and stars Tom Holland, Zendaya Coleman, Robert Downey Jr., Michael Keaton, Jon Favreau, Donald Glover, and Marissa Tomei. It is the 16th MCU film and the, fourth film in Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Tom Holland, as I said in my Civil War review, is definitely probably my favorite adaptation of Spider-Man because he perfectly nails performance. We get the awkward teenager, quippy Peter Parker. We get the awkward teenager Peter Parker, and then we get the quippy Spider-Man. Like Falcon says in Civil War, doesn't shut up, which is part of his charm. So, and once again, now that he's in high school, once he's in high school now, we can definitely see that more of that side of him, and he's more fully fleshed out than he was in Civil War. He still got pretty fleshed out to the point where we understood his character and stuff, and we understood his motivations right when we meet him. He lays it all out in a way that sort of paraphrases great power, great responsibility, but doesn't directly say it, which I like. In this movie, we get we get really fleshed out with Peter Parker. We learn about his life and what goes on in Queens, and then we get what he does as Spider-Man. He's just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He helps with carjacking, bike thieves, people cross the street, give people directions. That's what he does. He, like you said, a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But things start to get bad in his neighborhood, and he feels that it's his duty and responsibility to do this, and he does learn about great power, great responsibility. And it all works super well. This is not even, I would call, a superhero movie. This is a high school coming of age story. And for that, it works the most. This is definitely a high school movie if I've ever seen one. And I've seen a bunch. It works so well because there's action sequences. There's quite a bit, and they're all pretty entertaining to watch. But that's not where the main film lies. It lies in school, what Peter Parker does in school, how he tries to balance his life and being Spider-Man, which is always a big part of his character. It's like he has to go be Spider-Man, but he has a life that he wants to live, but he can't because he has to use these abilities, and he's letting people down. That's Spider-Man. And in the end, because of his actions and stuff, his sort of girlfriend has to move away and stuff. So, which people have said he doesn't get any consequences in this movie, but he actually does get some consequences. He gets a suit taken away because of his reckless behavior, and people said, "Oh, he did reckless behavior and he got the suit back." Sure, yeah, he did it, but he also proved that he can do stuff without putting people in harm's way. He saved a bunch of people. Well, and he stopped a villain. The main reason he was in trouble was A, because he was doing stuff he wasn't supposed to, and B, he put people at risk. He didn't put people at risk in this one. He saved people's lives. So I feel like he definitely has consequences and stuff in this movie. I hope that Far From Home sort of elevates the consequences a little bit more, though, because he does have them, but it's not like the full consequences sort of kind of bad ending that Peter Parker's used to. Like, we can have happy endings and stuff, but Peter Parker just always has, no matter what, Peter Parker's day kind of ends kind of low. He'll always have his friends and stuff to back him up for the most part, but, you know, he's just, his life isn't that great, and I hope we get to see more. It's hard because I want to see, like, the happy-go-lucky Peter, but I also want to see him, get down in the dumps. That's the perfect balance. If they could show the happy-go-lucky Peter and then also show him down in the dumps, like Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 did that brilliantly. We got to see Peter be happy, but we also got to see him down in the dumps, and it balanced that perfectly. This has both of those, but it doesn't balance them entirely perfectly. I still feel like this is so far our best live-action Spider-Man. Our best Spider-Man is definitely, and will probably always be Into the Spider-Verse. But this is probably this is so far is our best live action Spider-Man. Far From Home might disprove that. Our villain in Michael Keaton is great. Michael Keaton pulls off a very sympathetic villain in Vulture, and you really enjoy him. And Michael Keaton does something with the character where when he's the Vulture, he's just like, oh, hey, look, the superhero and the supervillains are fighting. But when he's just Michael Keaton, he can be quite terrifying. There's a scene when he's in the car with Peter and threatens him with violence and stuff, and it's actually you're pretty much gripping the armrest of your seat. It's really intense, and I really like that moment. It's really great. The battles, for the most part, are good. There's slightly CGI overload, especially with Vulture, seeing as how pretty much all of him is CGI and stuff. But they're not bad. Humor is there's a lot of humor in it, and I feel like it all lands. This is a really fun and funny movie. Iron Man is barely in this movie. And I enjoyed that because everyone thought, oh, this is gonna be Iron Man 4. It's not. It's not Iron Man 4. Tony Stark is actually not in this movie a lot. He's barely in it, I'd say. You definitely get those moments with him, but for the most part, he's like on the phone with Peter or something. You get like 3 real life interactions, and 2 of them are really short. And then the rest are just phone calls and stuff. So, yeah, he doesn't get a lot of interactions. Everyone is great in this movie. This movie is my second favorite MCU movie. Like I said, some of the action isn't as great as other Spider-Man movies, but for the most part, this is a really fun and funny movie, and a great high school movie, and a great Spider-Man movie. If you've not seen Spider-Man Homecoming, I would very much recommend seeing it. Probably one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. I'm going to give Spider-Man Homecoming 98 web shooters out of 100. So that's Spider-Man Homecoming. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Have you seen Endgame? What did you think of that? If you spoil the movie, there will be consequences. I don't know what those consequences will be, but there will be consequences. This is Jordan from Jordan Reviews, signing off.